kind of got some, like, can you see? I hope you can see and I'm not just like an idiot here, but anyway. Hello, my name is Tuck, and as you can see, well, maybe the mask is obscuring it, but I like to play around with makeup. And for any of you, basically, like, I guess there's like probably just one person who's ever seen any of my other videos, you might know that I also love video games, and specifically League of Legends. So this look is inspired by Coven Morgana, which is one of the skins from that game. And so I think the vibe, even though the colors and stuff like that are quite different from the original, I think the vibes are similar. And so I took inspiration from that mask that she has, right? And so that's kind of how I came up with my own form. And then I just took it in a different direction. I added flower petals. Obviously the coloring is quite different from the original. And I created like this whole like jewelry suite to go along with the look. So I have a short video showing how I created these props for those of you who are interested. Really, they're all made from aluminum foil and foam clay, so they're very light and it's quite cheap to make these and quite easy. And if you're interested, however, in how I created the makeup look, then please stay tuned to this video. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Okay, to start with, we're going to do the eyes first, or at least put down a base, right? And then eyes, the rest of my face, and then we'll finish up the eyes, and then the lips, as is my usual order now. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started then. Because my eyelids get so oily, even though I've just showered and just washed my face, I'm going to clean off my eyelids with a little bit of micellar water anyway, just to remove any oil that's on there. And then next I'm going to take the eyeshadow base / primer from Sigma. This is in the shade Radiance. I really like it. But anyway, I'm just gonna, put that all over my eyelids and actually bring it pretty high up, all the way up to my brow practically. Start off this look, I'm going to put down a base, a kind of a brown base with a little bit of sparkle in it. And I'm going to use Celebration from Danessa Myricks. It's from her Colorfix, I want to say metallic line? Let's go with metallic. Using a synthetic flat shader brush, I'm going to pack the color along the lower lash line and then, kind of pat it out a little bit to start the blending process. And again, there's going to be much more color on the outer corner just to add some depth. And because this formula sets so fast, work one eye at a time and gradually build it up. I find that's the best way. And then taking a sort of, this is a pointed crease brush, I guess. Anyway, it's a synthetic thing synthetic brush from Morphe. It's the M321. I'm just going to use that to blend out the edges and soften everything just a little bit. And at this point, you don't have to get both sides, exactly the same. Because this is just the base. As long as they more or less look the same, you're good to go. But just to establish some depth, especially along the lash line in the outer corner, reinforce that brown color, I'm going to use the shade Epsilon from Hallberg. It's from her Metallic Mysteries 2 palette. So this is a metallic brown shade that's neutral-ish, I would say. I'm going to concentrate Epsilon along where Celebration, right, that brown color is the most concentrated. Basically, I'm kind of using this to almost like set the cream, but not, although it sets by itself, I like having this sort of extra insurance on top of it. I'm going to go in with the sort of the main color, if you will, for this look, and that's going to be bronze. And in this case, I will use the shade, it's just simply called Bronze, from Pat McGrath. I'm going to take the bronze on just a packer brush. This one's from Refer, it's their number 2. But anyway, I'm just going to pat that along where, mainly the edges of the brown, and then work it into where I place down the brown as well, just to blend everything together. And then once I get to the outer edges, as you can see, I'm taking that color quite far up, and then I'm checking basically how far I need to go and like what sort of shape I want, so that complements the mask shape. And again, the bronze will go all the way up to my brow, kind of at the outer third of my eye, and then it'll kind of do an angle, so it kind of comes down and goes into the inner corner where it's not going to be like super visible. I'm going to use a black shadow. In this case, it's going to be Fornax from Linda Hallberg's Infinity Deep palette. Using a pencil brush, I'm going to take Fornax and concentrate it in my outer corner and kind of lightly sketch kind of that outer V, that sort of that socket shape in the outer corner. It's better definitely to slowly build up the color to the intensity that you want, because once you go overboard with black, it's really hard to then dial it back down. So for the inner corner, I really want to bring quite a bit of light into it because of the mask. There's going to be quite a bit of shadow because of the way the mask, as you can see, there's a bit of a ledge here, so it's going to kind of cast a shadow. You can use any sort of like light, bright, sort of champagne-y kind of, or very light, like gold sort of shades, I think would work really nicely. I'm going to take a flat shader brush to apply Lunar Champagne, and I'm going to bring it into the bronze a little bit, just a tiny bit, just to blend the two. And I'm going to use the Lunar Champagne also to kind of strengthen and re-emphasize the shape that I'm going for. As you can see, I'm taking it sort of at an angle, kind of in a curve, all the way up to the brow where the bronze is. To start off the base, I'm going to use mix the shades Chestnut, which is kind of this chestnut warm brown, and Desert Rose, which is kind of a browny, rosy kind of color. Mix them more or less in equal proportion and use that to add some dimension, to kind of sculpt my face. It's going to be like a blush slash bronzer slash contour kind of combo. I'm just going to use my finger to dab it lightly, kind of where blusher slash bronzer would normally go. And this product is really pigmented and it does set really quickly, right? So just use a little bit and work fast. And I know it looks quite dark right now, but that's okay because it's going to be covered by foundation. Okay, so now I'm going to apply the shade Tiara from Danessa Myricks Vision Flush. To apply Tiara, I'm going to just dot it on the high points of my face with my fingers, and then I'm going to blend it out with that same brush that I used earlier to help marry everything. For foundation today, I'm going to use the Vision Cream Cover from Danessa Myricks. I'm in the shade N3. All the hype, I have to say, about Vision Cream Cover seems to be right. It is full coverage, right? So if you really want, I think it would work actually really quite well as a drag foundation even. But it doesn't look so unnatural sometimes as the Crayon, those sticks. This one, it has all of that coverage, but still, it still looks like skin, but just better. Anyway, so I'm a big fan of this product. I'm going to dot the foundation all over my face, just using a finger. And like I said, a little bit goes a long way. You really don't need very much. But in areas where you do want a little bit more coverage, like for me, it's kind of along my upper lip, and then I do have a bit of a blemish, I will, kind of put a little bit more there. And then just let it set a tiny bit before buffing it all out. So for concealer today, when I want to spot conceal, I'm actually just going to apply more of the Vision Cream Cover just because it's got such good coverage. And then the parts where I want to, highlight my face a little bit more, I'm going to use shade 1 from the same tip concealer. All my, cream products for my base are done. I think, yeah, let's go ahead and set. The setting powder in Banana or Brilliance from LYS Cosmetics. This is, I really like this actually. It just leaves the nicest layer of powder. When it sets, it doesn't look like my face is really dry or powdery or anything like that. To set the under eye, I'm just going to take the setting powder, put it lightly, have a light dusting of it on my Wayne Goss airbrush, and then just pat it on the under eye. And for the rest of my face, I'm just going to use this big powder brush from Real Techniques. And luckily with the Vision Cream Cover also, because it's so long lasting and pretty resilient to a lot of stuff, I don't have to worry too much about like setting my face very heavily. So we can move on to sculpting the face with like contour and a little bit more like bronzer and stuff like that. But before we do that, let me put on some lip balm. There we go. Alright, and so to add some color back to my face, I'm going to use the Infinity Deep palette from Hallberg. So for like bronzer / contour, I'm going to use the shades Light Year and Umbra. I'll mix them and do that. I'm going to concentrate this color combination just where I would normally place contour and bronzer. And I want my cheekbones to be quite dramatic today, so I'm going to place quite a bit more contour there than usual, and then same thing with my nose. I'm going to make the nose contour quite a bit more dramatic than usual. What color should I use for blush today? I think I'm going to go a little bit red. I think I'll go a little bit redder than usual. So I'm actually going to mix Mars and I guess Polar Star should work kind of nicely. It'll be like a radiant blusher, I guess. Apply on the, where blusher / highlighter usually goes. Okay, so let's finish off the base. I think that's pretty good with some highlighter. And I will use a combination of Polar Star and Solar. Now that the base is done, we can go back and finish up the eyes. I still have to do the under eyes. I want to touch up, what I did earlier just a little bit, and also blend out some of the edges. So let's start with the under eye. I'm gonna take a little bit of Celebration, right? That sort of brown color from Danessa Myricks, a little bit of sparkle. Just lightly place that on the under eye, and then kind of set that, if you will, with a bit more Epsilon, which is that brown metallic from Hallberg, and just blend that out a little bit. So to blend out the edges, I'm actually going to go back to the Infinity Deep palette and use primarily Light Year, which is that sort of tan beigey kind of shade. Maybe a little bit of Umbra at the outer corners for a little bit of depth. So the final touches for the eye will be just a little bit of Lunar Champagne on just the inner part of my lower lash line. Again, just a little bit more light because I think this look needs it. And I will also be tight lining, and I'll be tight lining with, what should I use? I'll probably go in with Brown Core, which is just a brown pencil from Hallberg. And finally, to just reinforce everything, I'm going to take that metallic brown shade from the very start of this, Epsilon, and just use a angled liner brush to kind of go over the pencil on my upper lash line. Okay, let's go ahead and do the brows then. I'm just going to do the one on this side because this side is going to be covered completely by that mask. And also, because of the way I'm going to adhere the mask with Prosade. If there's any makeup, right, I'm actually going to remove some of the makeup that's around the eye, just so that the Prosade has something to, attach to it, that can attach to the skin and not just the makeup and then peel off. But anyway, so eyebrows just on this side, and it'll be quite defined because I was playing around with this look earlier and I found that it's better if this is stronger to balance out, the big shape on this side. To fill in the brow, I'm going to use the shade Ebony from Sephora from the brow pencil. And it's a good way to quickly fill everything in because the tip is pretty big. And then to add a little bit more dimension and for some, thicker hair-like strokes, I'm going to use Almost Black from Hallberg's Infinity Brows. Just use the pencil end and, kind of do a little bit more filling in / some hair strokes, comb it through to blend everything in, and then to add more lifelike hair, I'm going to use the pen end of Infinity Brows and just lightly draw in some hairs. you can see the brow, you know, what I did was I also pulled it up so that the shape at the tail end matches the shape of the eyeshadow, right? And for the lips today, I'm going to repeat, so there's several options you can do. I think generally what works best with this look with the eye is something that's kind of a little bit, you know, warmer, a little bit on the brown side. I'm gonna reuse that mixture of Desert Rose and Chestnut from earlier, right? And then I'm going to line my lips with that brown core pencil from Linda Hallberg again, just to, you know, make sure nothing moves, although, you know, the Colorfix does not move. And then optionally, you know, okay, if you're wearing a mask, right, obviously you don't want to do lip gloss because that'll just smear all over the place. But if you are not wearing a mask, you can go with some sort of gloss. I'm just going to use Lust Gloss, the Bronze Temptation from Pat McGrath. Let's go ahead and put on that mask that I showed you earlier. So again, as a reminder, yeah, well, you'll see it well, but this is what it looks like, right? So what I did was, you can see there are no like strings or elastic or anything. So the way I'm going to attach this to my face is to stick it on using Pros-Aid, put it onto a Q-tip, and then just put it on the back of the mask. As it dries, that's when it becomes sticky, and you want it to kind of basically dry all the way, and you'll know it has because it'll be, so you saw earlier with the liquid is, you know, it's white, but once it's dry you can see it's clear. So I've already gone ahead and put on the Pros-Aid and let it dry. Okay, so I have my cotton pads here. I'll just add some, you know, micellar water, any sort of makeup remover will do. This is just what I have on hand. I guess you could use a makeup wipe too, but I have mixed feelings about those. Okay, so I know this, you know, the mask is going to go over the eyebrows, right? So I'm going to wipe off, you know, clean off that area, just the eyebrows. And then because I want it to attach to the inner part a little bit also, I'll go ahead and remove that gently. You know, you want to remove as little makeup, right, as possible. Put it up again. Okay, so it's kind of like the top of my cheekbone into, like, I guess right under where my mole is. So let me do that then. It's good to do this because I also have a little bit of fallout that I would like to remove. Okay, there we go. You know, it's not going to be a perfect fit, but let me try again, and let's do it this way. There we go. Well, if you put a lot of Pros-Aid, obviously it's going to stick very, very strongly, and so when you want to remove it, if you don't use a Pros-Aid remover, it can actually end up ripping out the hairs, right? So just be mindful of that if you're going over the eyebrow area like I am. You know, just don't use as much Pros-Aid and be very gentle when you're removing this, especially if you're not going to use like a special Pros-Aid remover first. So it's pretty secure, even though it's only like really attached right here and like right here. It feels pretty secure. I mean, I might have to, like, you know, if I'm wearing this all day, I might have to like make, you know, adjustments like reapply and stuff like that. But let me put on the rest of, I made kind of like a little jewelry suite to go along with this, so let me put that on and then we can do the final look. Okay, so I have all of the sort of accessories that I made. So in addition to the mask, I also did like a little ear cuff. I was kind of debating, you can see like there are petals there. I also made like a ring that has, and again I'll have a little maybe like 5-minute video where I explain how I made these. And finally, you can't see it, but I made like a little, let me go closer, I made like this pendant and then just put it on a chain. So like all together, hopefully it's kind of, you know, hopefully it just feels like a complete sort of thing. Okay, so let me do the tour, right, with the mask on. So yeah, so that's today's look. I'm really quite happy with how it turned out. I really think these colors are really quite pretty together, and I think they go really well with the mask. You know, I wanted to do this look actually without the mask, without all this. I think it works actually just fine as like a standalone look. Even though it's quite big, right, the color goes all the way up to the brow. At least on me, because of my skin tone, the bronze almost disappears into my skin when it's not catching the light, and so everything doesn't look, you know, as big as it really is. But you know, when I turn just so, I guess, like, it catches the light and ooh, drama. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, you know, like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully I'll become a little bit more regular now with my videos. And until next time, please take care and bye! But I'll just give you like a kind of quick tour without the mask on, and then I'll put on everything, and we'll see like the final look.